Hey guys, well, I'm still limping. This is how I look when I walk. It's awful. This is my best walk all day. And that's not bad I was crawling earlier. So I was using my derma wand and I was putting it on, now don't say anything mean to me, you haters, but I was putting it on the hip where the pain was, and underneath my clothes, and using oil. Don't say anything naughty or dirty on YouTube. Anyways, I'm just pointing out that because I get a lot of pain here too in the back. What happened was I could feel it bunching up here yesterday, and I kept pushing these points trying to do an acupressure treatment on myself, and it was just twisting. I could feel it twisting as the day progressed, and then by the nighttime it was like had just torqued me out. It's weird how this twisting thing happens. I can feel it starting. So anyway, and I've had a perfect diet. I've been doing everything right. The peppers and the avocado and coconut oil and my veggies, my salad, and protein, tuna, some people think tuna is bad, but I don't know. I usually find myself feeling pretty good after eating a can of tuna. So just sticking with proteins and vegetables, and I think that's why I'm literally not in a wheelchair. But this is a progressive disease, so I can't believe I have this disease. I was listening to this video the other day about symptoms of activation, DNA activation, that whole 12-stranded thing, that whole starseed, Pleiadian, light bearer thing, all of that, and how the symptoms of getting your body being activated and turning into its light body or whatever, and the symptoms are muscle pain, basically. Incredible. I have all those symptoms, and sometimes I wonder if the whole rheumatoid thing and the fibromyalgia is actually my body doing that activation process, which is actually quite painful and hard and challenging. And if you want to go with that model of life where, star people or whatever came down to this planet to take in this vibration to rejuvenate the body or to transform it into the light body, if that's me, then that's what's happened, and it's actually really, really painful and not an easy process. It's not like you get activated and your body feels better. This whole activation thing, I don't even know what's the point of it if you just suffer. I don't quite understand that part yet, but if that were true, where the process is painful, because all healing, a lot of times healing is painful. The process of healing can be painful. If that's true, then that would make sense. Fibromyalgia is not even really understood by the medical profession, and it's a weird disease that they just now claim to have a blood test for. So I don't know if they do or they don't, because I know a lot of people who suffer with it, which is what they call it when they don't really know what else to call it. That's what some people say. I think it might be toxicity in the body, in the blood, in the muscles, in the fascia, where the body is trying to rid itself of toxins. That's a very possible cause of this. And I've been detoxing for years, and I'm allergic to aspirin. So when my mother gave me baby aspirin when I was baby, it didn't kill me, but I think it destroyed my musculoskeletal system. And then those fake sugars in tab, those are known to cause musculoskeletal issues as well, and I was addicted to tab for a while. So anyways, doing this through the day has made me feel better, and I think this is really, it can be used as a healing tool, as I continuously say, because there's way more to the use of having this electrical vibration, than to hold points and to use your thoughts with the vibration. The vibration enhances your thinking. So, I've had some weird pains. I had a pain on my breast, this really weird, random discomfort right here on my left breast that was just totally weird. And I felt my chest seizing. my daughter was spending the night that night, and she was worried I was having a heart attack. And the pressure and the seizing feeling was so weird and unusual for me. I actually was like, I hope I'm not having a heart attack, you know. And then I did my energetic medicine, which is where you use muscle testing with just your hands, either this way or this way, to determine what's wrong. So I got that I did not have a heart attack, but this muscle spasming issue could be related to the increase in DNA. You know, we went from 12 strands of DNA down to 2 strands. That's 10 strands that have been damaged to keep our consciousness out of our physical body experience, so that we don't recall our true nature. So we're always wandering around here in these bodies completely mystified as to what the hell's going on around here. You know? So, oh God, I do love this feeling. It does, like I said, I just feel it right down the core of my body, right down to my first chakra. And I can feel the muscles like activating. So I feel like, you know, just to get really personal, I had like a cyst just inside, you know, the vag. I had like a little ball, a little marble that I probably had since I gave birth to possibly my second child, if not my third child. And I don't like to panic about these things, and I'm not one to race to the doctor, because I don't like to just get a bunch of medications and more pills and then get more side effects from taking the pills. So I've always gone natural and, you know, used homeopathic remedies or a good diet or acupuncture, acupressure. So I feel like I have to do this in the middle of my back. Oh, God. It hurts. It hurts everywhere, you know. If it's not one spot, it's another. Plus, I haven't been going to my acupressure woman, who I love, back in Maine. I'm going to see her this week, but because I moved here. She really helped me, but I think that's going to be something I have to do regularly. I'm going to have to find somebody out here. I felt great. I think that's what this is partially, just not having that treatment. This derma one, though, does help. But having somebody else just really work on you who's very knowledgeable about acupuncture and acupressure and the meridians. I like acupressure because I'm sick and tired of needles. I don't like needles. And they hurt, you know. And acupressure can hurt, but in a better way. So I'm just putting this, oh gosh, ow, right here in the middle of my back. Right here, here's my spine. And this muscle is very tight. And it's contributing to the torquing of my hip, you know. You know, it's usually my left hip. Now it's my right hip. It goes back and forth. When people tell me to get a hip replacement, it's like, I know that's not the answer, because I'd have to have both hips, and the pain is not just about my hips. It's about the relationship between the muscles and the bones, you know. Pleiadians say that the real root of the story of our problems is in bone. You know, I'm really familiar with the story that is locked in the muscles, because my muscles have been spasming and have been painful for probably all my whole life. But this thing about bone, it's like, ooh, do you have to die? You know, what do you mean bone? What do you mean the story's in bone? You know, it was something like, how did they describe it? They were saying, like, the skin is part of it, but then within that is the muscles and the blood, and that's another part of the story. And it's like the pathway to the root core of the story, which is bone. So it's like, God, I hope that doesn't mean you have to get bone cancer or something to understand it. I don't understand what that means. You know, bones aren't something you really deal with till you die. So, but hey, you know what? We underestimate death. we all think it's the worst thing ever, and we're also afraid of it. But it could be the key to getting out of this misery. Now, I'm putting this on my thigh. If you can see, I'm all in black, so it's hard to see. This But along here, which is related to the colon, it really hurts. So I'm going to use this. You know, you can self-massage yourself. And then rub oils. I watched this other video today, since I've been home and not able to get out, and I'm really missing getting out on my bike, but where this girl does this thing with how to grow your eyelashes. And she uses castor oil, coconut oil, the cure-all for everything, and avocado oil. Well, I happen to have both coconut oil and avocado oil in my closet, because I'm all about the oils. It's all about oil, you know. Interesting, isn't it, about oil? And, oh, it feels so good. You guys got to get one of these things. Oh, I feel this right down in my crotch. I just feel like it's stimulating a very important major, you know, the meridian of the body. Oh, God, it just does something rejuvenating. I think this helps with the whole light body process, you know, the vibration. Imagine if you had vibrations all around. Jeez. Anyway, so the oil. So she makes this potion of castor oil, coconut oil, and avocado oil, and then she puts a brush like a mascara and dips it into this thing with the oil, and then she brushes that on her eyelashes, and that's all she does. So it just goes to show you how powerful these oils are and what a good investment they are. And it's like oil and water. You know, they don't mix, but you need them both. Ooh, this is a little sharp. So I'm just making this video about the fact that, you know, you can use this. You know, I use it on my neck. You know, when my neck starts to seize up. It's funny how our muscles just seize up. And I was, you know, the Pleiadians, who I talk about a lot because we're all Pleiadian, we're living out our bad Pleiadian karma. Even though the Pleiadians, there's a lot of different kinds of Pleiadians, so you can't just assume all Pleiadians are good just because they're not from here. We are the Pleiadians. We're the offspring / cousins. You know, there are, oh gosh, listen to this. Okay, I was going to talk about this. Okay, you know, here we are in our human bodies, right? So the Pleiadians tell this story, and they hint. They don't quite say it, because they don't want to just give it all out for some reason. We're supposed to figure it out on our own. We're supposed to be self-motivating, which supposedly is our own design for our body, for our life experience here on this planet in a human body. And they suggest that we and our forefathers are actually beings that we, in this body, in this consciousness, would be afraid of. Like, for example, the dragons, or, you know, the reptilians, you know? So I was thinking about this one day and had this idea that, oh, I know what it was. I listened to this video about how the Anunnaki, which are the Egyptians, are a combination of Pleiadian and reptilian. So we don't think we have reptilian blood. We think the reptilians are these foreign aliens. But what if it were true that we are a combination of reptilian and Pleiadian? That made sense to me. That resonated. And I thought to myself, what if there's a love story involved here? You know the story of Romeo and Juliet, the two opposite families against each other, and the two fall in love, right? So what if there's a love story here that we don't know about between a Pleiadian and a reptilian, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, you know, where there's the reptilians, you know, the dinosaurs, the dragons. I mean, there's clearly dragon lore, dragon history here. Supposedly the dragons are the ones who were collecting all the crystals. Maybe I was a dragon. And then there's these images of gods and goddesses with the dragons, Pleiadian, the dragon. Oh, that's right, the Pleiadian, the dragon. You know, and then even that movie with the green, beautiful, cool green people in the jungle, whatever that thing is called, that big cartoony movie. Yeah. They fly those dragons, right? The enemy is the dragon, but then they conquer the dragon. I think there's this big relationship between the Pleiadians and the dragons, and maybe they fell in love, and it's Beauty and the Beast, and it was against against the Pleiadians and the dragons. They didn't want this love affair to happen, but then the love affair happened, and the offspring is us, over time. And that other story, Helen of Troy, the beautiful Helen of Troy, and then how, she was with one side, and then this, what's his name, fell in love with her, came over, fell in love with her, and stole her away, and then he went crazy, and then he went, the Greeks, and then he went to Agamemnon and all those guys, and then they went over to attack Troy, and they had that war for 10, 12 years, and then they came up with the Trojan horse, and then they finally won the war, destroyed poor Troy. And I don't know what happened to Helen, and supposedly, in one movie I saw Helen and this one guy survived, but, what's the name? Oh, that's when, what's his name gets hit in the ankle with the arrow, the guy who's dipped, the famous guy who, they made that movie about with Brad Pitt, called Troy, and he plays, what's his name, that half god, half mortal, who is the best warrior in the whole world. The name is just escaping me. But anyway, so isn't that a crazy idea? But what if that were true? I mean, what does it mean? Like, so what? Well, I don't know. Maybe we have to get in touch with our dragon nature. Maybe we need to get in touch with our whole selves in order to cope here or understand. Or maybe we're down here to solve a mystery. Maybe that's the game, is that we came down here with blinders on, the pineal gland shut down, and the hypothalamus. And to win, you got to figure out the story. And they take away all the answers. For example, there's no history of the story. Where do we come from? We don't even know. Somebody just made that whole thing up about the monkeys. It's so funny how everybody believes all this. When I was in college, I had this argument with this guy about the whole thing with the monkeys. He really believed the whole monkey story, and most people do, right? And I just never believed that story. Because I think I always knew that it was false, because I think I came in knowing a lot of stuff that I couldn't prove and that nobody understood except for me. So I seemed like the crazy one. I had to keep it secret, really. But I just, it doesn't even make logical sense that we evolved from monkeys. It's ridiculous if you really get down to it. It's stupid, actually. And the fact that people buy these stories that we hear in school it's incredible. So, I knew we didn't come from monkeys, but I had to propose. I remember having this argument with this guy in this one house that somebody was renting on the beach in Narragansett, and we stayed up for hours talking about this. And he was arguing, pro we're from monkeys, and I was arguing that we weren't from monkeys. I could tell I was swerving him, though. I could tell that I was arriving to this point, because supposedly there was this missing link between the monkey and the human, and they couldn't really figured out the missing link, but there was a missing link. So if there's a missing link, then you have to call it a theory instead of a fact. And it is a theory. It's always been a theory, the theory of evolution. But it's been presented as a fact in these schools because they're trying to confuse us and keep us from knowing who we really are. See, we're powerful. We're powerful beings, and pretending that we're not powerful in this game, it's like playing Monopoly. You got your brain and your hands and your eyes, and you're all got it going on, but you pretend you're this little plastic car or something, or a little dog or something in a game just to play the game. It's kind of like that, I think. We come down, but our playing piece is way more advanced than a little metal dog or the little house or whatever playing Monopoly. We get a whole body, and we get a whole life story, and parents, and siblings, and etc., or whatever. Sometimes we're only children, depending on what we set up. And maybe the game is to figure out the truth, that this is a game. I mean, it's really just mind-blowing that we don't know where we're from, for real. And that we dig, and we have these archaeological sites, and we dig, and we try to figure it out, and we assume, and we project, and we imagine, and we negotiate with ourselves, and we take probabilities based on possibilities, based on our imagination, and we make up all this stuff, and then we present it in school as if it's a fact. And it's not a fact. None of it's a fact. But this thing about the dragons, draconians. Oh yeah, there's the draconians. You know, who they're kind of like the vampires. You know, Draco and the reptilians and the Pleiadians. So maybe there's some love story in there. I think there is, because we're all loveaholics. We love to fall in love. And often our love is against something else. It's against society. Not always, but sometimes. Oftentimes, you know, it's wrong. You know, if you're gay, it's wrong. If your age difference, if there's a big age difference, it's wrong. If it's a student, teacher and a student, it's wrong. I mean, there's all these things that make it wrong, you know. And if you think about, oh gosh, like what gives us pleasure, right, in this life? It's usually, you know, what gives us pleasure? Love, friendship, sex, nature, right? The basics. So, and yet we constantly come up against things that are against our pleasure, you know, unloving actions. We're not allowed to have sex because we're taught that it's bad, or it's only reserved for marriage, or it's, you know, you can't be naked. You gotta be, even though being naked for a lot of people is a huge joy and a huge pleasure, it's against society. You can't do that. You know, you can't do any. You can't show your nips. You can't show your body. You can't have sex till you're married. You know, if you have sex, you might get pregnant with the wrong guy. You might get a disease. I mean, there's always something against that which causes us pleasure in this life. You know, which kind of goes with my whole anti-love experiment concept. But so why is that? Oh gosh, then this other thing came into my head about a phrase came into my head, which was this quote: "That which you love will destroy you." End quote. That which you love will cause you pain. You know? And I don't know why it came into my head, but it was like I heard someone say it as if they were casting a spell. That which you love will destroy you, you know? That which you love will cause you pain, as if someone in control or who has powers cast a spell on someone else who they were mad at, you know, and all of your offspring will suffer and die a million deaths. Do we not die a million deaths on this planet? You know? And it was like, I heard it almost like I was remembering hearing it. And then I thought, oh my God, is that the spell that's here? That which you love will cause your death. That which you love will destroy you. That which you love will cause you pain. You know, and I thought about that guy who died under the foot of his elephants, that guy who brought those elephants to Maine, and they were old and sick and dying, or they were old and sick, and they were from the circus, and he wanted to save them, but he brought them to Maine, and I guess everyone thought he was this great guy. He's a nice guy, right? And he loves animals, and he's a vet. He was a vet. And my first reaction was, elephants don't belong in Maine because it's too cold for them. That's not where elephants, you know, grow and dwell. But everybody thought he was saving the elephants, you know. Well, if they had arthritis like me, let me tell you, they weren't happy in Maine. But anyways, they built a big barn with heat. So, but he freaking died under the foot. Those elephants trampled him. He's dead because of those elephants. Maybe they did him a favor. I don't know, because maybe the death experience is not what we think. It's not the bad thing. It's the good thing. Maybe it means you graduated from Earth. Maybe it means you accomplished your goal. And maybe the death moment, while filled with all this fear, is actually the best moment. Maybe the more fear you have, the better the death feels once it's over. I don't know. I just know that the death is a really great time. I know that the death, once it's over, is like amazing. You know, best best moment. But this guy dies under the foot of his elephants, which seems like a tragedy. I mean, he had a wife and kids, so it is a tragedy for her and them. So why would that happen, you know? And then that woman who died canoeing, kayaking. She died in Maine kayaking. Kayaking was her passion. That which you love will destroy you. You know, she loved kayaking, and she died kayaking. So she died doing what she loved. So do you want to die doing what you love, or do you want to die doing what you don't love, doing what you hate? I don't know. I mean, and then that woman who was skiing for years, you know, she was a professional. She was a very experienced skier, and she's like 55 years old, which is pretty much my age. And she smashes into a tree on Sugarloaf and dies immediately. You know? I mean, you don't always die. So I'm like, what do I love? What's going to kill me? Oh, God, you know? I mean, that wouldn't be good. So I love dancing. Is dancing going to kill me? You know, I love my children. I just wouldn't want them to feel guilty if they accidentally killed me. I'm always saying to them, you know, if I die, it's okay. I've lived my life. I mean, they're grown pretty much. I mean, they miss me. My youngest would be, of course, she's still growing. She needs her mama. But, you know, as far as me making it to 50, it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm good. Naturally, I still want to live because suffering with rheumatoid is so fun. This life is a struggle. Let's face it. What's your struggle? Who doesn't have a struggle? Everybody has a struggle. That's what this place is about. The anti-love experiment. Or can you find love in an unloving world? I mean, there's love here, but there's a lot of anti-love. You know? Can you figure out the mysteries, the secrets of this existence when you have absolutely nothing to go on? You don't have your instincts anymore. We took them away. We're disconnecting your mind to your heart so that you are not connected, but you're disconnected. You know, we're going to teach you all these lies when you're a child so that you believe things that are false so that you can't figure it out. I mean, it's so funny. You see all this self-help stuff and the secret key, the secret to this and to that. We want to know the secret. To what? I don't know. To never-ending life? To happiness? To what? To love? To what? What do we want to know the secret to? To get out of slowly aging and dying? They say rheumatoids are progressive. It is progressive. But so is life. So is living. Living in a human body is progressing towards your death. You can't hold this up forever, you know? If you don't get eaten by a tiger, squished by an elephant, you know, drowned in your kayak, or killed in a car accident, or a plane, you're going to die of old age. It's really fun. It's so fun to be here. And if you don't make enough money, you're not going to have a good old age. It's so sad, really. Gosh. Us poor people. Poor humanity. Oh, man. So my goal is to get 48 million people dancing together to the same song worldwide at one time. You think that can happen? Can we get 48 million people? I'll tell you, I don't know if I'll be dancing upright or sitting in a chair, but I wonder what time of day would be the best time of day for everyone to be dancing, because you know how there's a time difference? You know, would it be 3 in the afternoon here and 3 in the morning there, or midnight here and noon? Probably midnight and noon. 12 at the 12s would probably be the best time, and that would make sense because 12 is an important number. So so at 12 midnight in some parts of the world and 12 noon in other parts of the world and other times in between, I guess we'd have to figure that out. We all could have to dance to some really, really great, fun, uplifting song that had special words in it, special sound vibrations in it, and we have to do special movements. And then maybe if we had that many people around the world, we could shift something into a better consciousness or upliftment of some kind. What do you think about that? You know, I like that idea. Oh, I love my derma wand. What would I do without this thing? It helps keep things moving. So I also continue with my good diet, and I did everything right, and I took my arnica, and I massaged the oils into my back and my hip, and I'm still walking very crooked. It's so awful. But I'm going to be the dancer for the handicapped. I'm going to be the dancer for the special needs. And I'm going to be the dancer that represents those who cannot move freely. Because you can still dance, and music helps your body. So I guess that's what I'm going to be all about, as well as, other things. I want to do this dancing thing. Because I think that dancing, we want the key. Dancing is one of the keys. There's no question about that. I think it's a combination of sounds and movements. Something. So, if you knew what the result was going to be from 48 million people uniting together on the planet to do something in unison, then it would be exciting to know what the result would be. Well, we don't know what the result would be because we've never done it. Remember the harmonic convergence that was in the 80s? Supposedly, there was enough people on the planet focusing on upliftment that it opened a portal in the time locks, because there's time locks around the planet to keep us thinking that this linear time is the only time, and to prevent, passing through history through time portals. So supposedly, during the harmonic convergence, which was a mass consciousness around the planet, that's when the Pleiadians were able to come in to the library of Earth and do some shifting. I think I'm part of that. So maybe this is what this is about, the 48 million people dancing to the same song, vibration, words, and symbols to create another portal for something good to happen, because it has to be good. And it would be good because our vibration would be in happiness. So, what is the song? What are the words? What are the symbols? Well, we already know some of them. The spiral, the circle, parallel lines, and the infinity sign. And the heart is very important. And what is this relationship between us and the dragons? There is a relationship between us and the dragons. Maybe our parents are Pleiadians and dragons. Maybe we come from a passionate yet torrential love affair. And that's why all our love affairs end up, full of torment, loss, pain, jealousy, wreckage, divorce. Maybe it's inherent in the genes. The families opposed each other. Or there's jealousy from the two brothers and the one girl. I don't know. So I think there's something in this whole thing with the reptilian/draconian/dragons, because there were dragons and then they disappeared. There were dinosaurs and then they disappeared. And the dinosaurs and the dragons sort of seem related, don't they? Aren't dragons similar to flying dinosaurs? Only cooler? Right? So there's something in that. Maybe the dragons were experimenting with the DNA and came up with all these dinosaurs. And then somehow the Pleiadians got here, and then maybe they were battling each other, but then there was a Pleiadian woman and a dragon male, or vice versa, that fell in love. and then reproduced and came up with, and then thus there's this dramatic stuff. And then they wiped it all out because the animals and the humans were mixing up with each other, the gods and the humans, and we got all these weird minotaurs and stuff, and they wiped all that out and then started with just the human. They reset the game, right? And then it's like right before Jesus' time, and he came down to play and he wins, and then maybe he goes off and starts the Christian religion. Nobody wants to think that. I mean, what's so crazy is we don't want to believe that the Christians, I mean, the non-Christians don't want to believe that Jesus was really part of the Christian religion when the bad stuff happens. But the Christians think their religion is all about Jesus. And but what is it about? Because there's all these wars started. It didn't seem like Jesus was into wars. Then again, we don't really know Jesus, do we? I mean, we think we do. I mean, maybe he figured, I don't know, he got beat up. Maybe he came back with a vengeance. I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. Jesus, has, like everyone on this planet, multiple sides. He's got two sides. You can't come here and have one side, because this planet has two poles. So you got to be bipolar just to be on the planet, because that's the nature of the planet. So acting like bipolar is somehow weird or bad or wrong or something you need medication for is stupid, because we all have dark and light. We all have multiple sides. We all have love and hate. We all have, happiness and anger. I mean, this is humanity. This is what we're about. So he had that too. He wasn't just peaceful and loving all the time. And look how he was treated. That shit hurts your soul. So maybe he went, when he came back to reincarnate, he went and got some revenge on. Nobody wants to believe this, but I read this whole series of books called From Right Use of Will, which is channeled, quote unquote, by God. Now, which God are we talking about? The good one or the bad one? Because we all know there's a few bad gods. Where he basically says that when you repress your negative emotions, they don't disappear. When you deny your negative emotions, they don't go away. Oh, look at the crystal. They become something else. And no one's going to like this, but this book said that the Nazis were the opposite reflection of Christ consciousness. Da, da, da. I'll never watch your video again. I dare you say that. But, to get into the honesty, to get into the real story, you can't just say God is good, because God has mixed, and we are in the reflection of God. So that if we're mixed, he's mixed. He, she, the Godhead is mixed. And that Hitler and that the Nazis were actually the dark side of Christ consciousness. No one wants to think of it that way. Everybody just wants to assume the Nazis are all bad, But nobody's all bad. Nobody's all bad or all good on this planet. Something to think about anyways. We got to explain why we suffer on this planet. What is this crazy, weird nightmare? Ow, it hurts. Oh. Anyways, so those are my thoughts for now, guys. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. 38 minutes and 44 seconds. Oh, God, I love doing this. This is the best feeling in the world. The neck. The neck. The neck. The neck really connects us to the rest of our body. When somebody kisses your neck, it gets you all, the neck. Anyway, guys, love you. Thanks for watching. Mwah. I feel love being towards you. Mwah. Talk soon.